law enforcement changed the fact that grant money also helps cover the burden of dispatch, because like if someone's on a seatbelt detail or a OUI detail and you're constantly doing traffic stops.
No offense, why don't he look into it?
So Milligan kind of said that, but then he said, like, maybe I can use one of those grants to cover a guy in-house, like at the station who has like, I guess,
Well, they
Upper
used to
has
have-
kind of like a little dispatch
They
center there.
used to dispatch.
So he
We call the
said-
meeting to order. Joyce flags salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As you can all see, we've got a couple members of that absent. One is going to try to join online, but he hasn't yet, and he may not be able to, depending on his job. Action on the minutes, we are going to table. The clerk has been out ill all week, so they haven't been finished. Any adjustments to the agenda?
No, sir.
Public comment? Lois Pike.
Hi. If you say on the road, Robinson Hill, the 3 signs for the corner, one of them's gone. I didn't see it, it laying around, but maybe he's not here tonight, is he? No. Have you, no, you don't, okay. And, so maybe if we could find it, we probably can't put it up now, but
Towards Mechanic Falls or coming the other way?
I'm going down, it's the north end of the 3. There's 3 above, and they're okay, but the 3 on that stupid corner again, I'm sure somebody missed it and missed the road and took it out. The other thing I have is, and this may be just my hearing thing, but what it sounded to me last meeting was that you plan on cutting 4 lots in Oxford for the wood on them. And, the town found one does have a forestry plan that we've used for years. And if you're gonna do anything, I think you probably have to tell Hebron, because it's the watershed for Marshall Pond. And if you're gonna drive roads, which is what you were talking about, that it's not gonna do much good to the thing. The other one was, you said there was a sawmill or something going in on Robinson Hill Road or off it?
No.
No idea. That's news to me.
The closest thing to that code officer mentioned was Hammond Lumber, right?
Hancock.
Hancock, excuse me.
Hancock.
Hancock Lumber, but that's on Route 26.
Yeah. No sawmill on Robertson Hill.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you're doing, what's the one, the town on Aspen Avenue of 4 acres?
It's actually more.
It's what?
It's actually more than 4 acres.
So the only, if you're talking about tree cutting, is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about, Lois? The only tree cutting that's been discussed, there was some other things that were passed around for ideas, but the only one that is really getting any traction right now and is gonna be talked about more is that 40 acres on Route 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that one,
That's all I know about.
well, I wrote them down when I was hearing them here. so-
We discussed some of the other properties, but
Yeah.
nobody's said anything about cutting trees.
Good. I'd have nothing against cutting for keeping it good, but cutting it, clear cutting, I don't vote for it, period. And the other one is, on that 40 acres, we did that quite a while ago when I first got here. And it was, it seemed to be some problem about doing the cutting because of the water, aquifer, it's right on top of something. Do we have a plan that's been done by somebody that knows something about groundwater and so forth? Before I don't have a, I'm not against cutting, I'm just, you can't grow them back fast enough. So if there's a plan,
I think tonight you're gonna hear the board talk a little bit about that. Whether or not any action is taken tonight, I don't know, but you're probably gonna find that the board's gonna talk about that tonight. And there may be even further discussion in the near future about working with foresters and so forth, later on in the agenda.
do we still have the plan for the town farm one that, what was his name? Newcomb, they did it. I mean, there is a plan for that one.
I certainly haven't looked at the town farm plan in a long time, I think I've laid my hands on it, but the last time I looked, maybe laid my hands on that would have been at the old building, so, it's been some time, but we're not looking to do, we're focusing on the 40-acre lot mostly, so yeah.
Okay. Guess that's it for me.
Anybody else? So, business items, 5.1. Review pending foreclosure list, continued. So you have the list in front of you. Town manager can give a quick update, but not much has changed, I don't think.
Right, so in front of you have the list, was prepared by the town clerk. She was able to add on the bottom of it, just for your reference sake, some things about timelines and how those work. So we are kind of at the end of the road here, we need to make a decision. If we're gonna waive any of these foreclosures, that needs to be done tonight because notices have to go out tomorrow. So, I highlighted in yellow all of the mobile homes without land, so the mobile homes that are not on land are on leased or rented lots. And down at the bottom, did a quick total. So we're talking about $3,200 that's owed in taxes on these ones here. So, to put it bluntly, just need the board to tell me, if you guys wanna move forward with foreclosure, good, we'll get the process started, we'll take care of it, and if you wanna waive foreclosure, good, we'll take care of it and do it, but, I just need direction one way or the other. And if you don't take any action, the foreclosures happen anyway, and so tabling it is also taking care of the problem too, so that's what you got from me.
Thank you. Just doing a quick count here. Any thoughts from the board?
I assume you highlighted the yellow to the 3206 because of the lengthy discussion we had previous to this about, is it worth foreclosing on a mobile home on leased land? Because of the cost of foreclosing on it, if they don't pay their back taxes, we're gonna be liable, right? I mean, is that why you highlighted that yellow?
I highlighted the yellow because when I glanced at this spreadsheet, it didn't scream at me which ones didn't have land. And I thought that would be helpful to you guys, and I also wanted to know the total. When you look at these individual ones, yes, I did some research and I talked to the town attorney just to get a general idea of legal fees and so forth. You know, it'd be up to $5,000, $7,500 for legal fees, depending on what we get ourselves into, you know, per home. I also spoke to a broker, because of foreclosure ones that we're already working on trying to sell. I spoke to a broker about those as well. And she was advising that what she usually does for these mobile homes, if they go into foreclosure, she charges a flat fee. And, you know, that if they sell, but it's either, you know, a percentage or a flat fee. She on the other hand feels like she potentially could move some of these, but I would question if they would sell for the amount of the flat fee too. So, but regardless of that, that's where we're at.
And none of these, I mean, these are multiple years back. This isn't just some aren't even just past 2 years, it's,
Yeah, so the town clerk highlight, or made a new column on the far right, balance due all years. So, like, for instance, it looks like if, account number 893, you look across, like, this year, they owe $336. If you slide all the way over, you realize that their total balance owed for past years is $1,086.
Mhm.
So, and last year, the selectmen chose to waive the automatic foreclosure on that one.
so,
The majority of the select board voted to waive last year.
thanks for the clarification.
This one did not.
So, I'm safe to assume that 902 and 2729 have made an effort, correct?
So those ones, yes, so they paid, out front. Actually, those are the ones that they're paid. So they may owe back taxes, but they've paid what they need to stay out of foreclosure.
So, I'd be willing to say I would, I appreciate the effort is my point, I'm trying to decide what to do.
It's a hard decision, so, Phil, did you want to say something before?
I guess I don't understand. Last year you waived foreclosure on these ones that are highlighted in the thing, correct, Adam?
Correct.
Was that all of them, or did you select some out to waive and foreclose on other ones? In other words,
I believe it was all the ones that were on rented lots. I believe.
I believe you're correct.
And there were, I believe, a few more, so some of them must have come in and paid. I don't know how many.
I have to look, but I think you're
I mean,
correct.
there's 9 on here. I want to say there was 12 or 13, but I don't remember
you're right.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's more than what's on here now, so some of them have paid.
Yep.
Good.
It's, I'm not trying to preach, it puts us in a hard spot. Are we gonna spend more money to collect what's fair? Because all the people sitting out here, including people sitting up here that pay taxes in the town of Oxford, pay more because of these people that don't pay their taxes. And if you waive it last year, you can see they're more than 1 year behind. They've made no attempt to come in and pay anything. They've made no attempt to do their homestead exemption paperwork, which would cover a third of them. My opinion is
So,
we move forward.
so anything we incur as far as costs, any legal fees or whatever, once the place is sold, if it's sold for more than what we have into it, we get all legal fees and everything back, right? Including the back taxes.
So we can reimburse ourselves for back taxes, legal fees, realtor fees, other incidental fees that are legitimate to the cost of the sale of the property.
Mhm.
And then anything beyond that goes to the previous owner of record for the state law now.
Mhm.
So we can recoup those things. But
As long as you sell it for more than one.
Correct,
Right.
correct, and some we may not, some we may come close to breaking even, some we may lose a little bit, but.
like some of these, some of these are assessed at $6,600.
Right.
And,
Yeah, I just,
It doesn't necessarily have to sell for that, it just needs to sell for what
correct.
they owe the town of Oxford.
I don't really want to inherit anyone's place, I can assure you, but
I don't wanna make
we all
anybody
pay
homeless either.
taxes, so.
But again, this is my big thing with, when I preach about Washington DC, when I preach about Augusta, is the government is picking winners and losers. And if we decide to waive foreclosure on any of these properties and not some of the others, we are picking winners and losers. Because if you waive foreclosure on the rented lots, it's already proven that several of them, we're not making them pay. They're not gonna come back and pay next year either. Or the year after that, or the year after that, until you hold them accountable, they're never gonna pay. And I'm for one not to pick winners and losers. They're all in the same boat. I understand. I've been behind in my taxes before. And it's a fight. But if they want to make an effort,
They gotta
you know, you have a $122 tax bill. You can't tell me they can't come in here and pay $10 a month towards their taxes.
And the thing is that gets me too is we point out that the ones that are on rented land is only $3,200, but the whole entire thing's almost $125,000.
Right.
So the big picture is it's not picking or choosing, it's the total number altogether, no matter what property it is or what dwelling it is. It's up to 125 grand and climbing, and we're just doing nothing about it. And I don't want to, but.
I have a feeling a lot of these are going to come forward and pay their taxes. They're gonna come forward close on their property. They're not gonna find a cheap place to live than $240. So,
Yeah, can you clarify that for me, Adam? They just need to pay under the column balance due, right? To get it out of foreclosure. They don't actually need to pay the back taxes as well, correct?
To get it out of foreclosure, they need to pay, balance due, including interest costs. Actually, the yellow squares.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. But they're behind though, as the
Correct.
clerk has indicated on the far right.
Yep.
That much.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
but they'll buy themselves another year if they do that.
And you don't need anything from us. They don't need a motion or anything.
the foreclosure is automatic unless we waive it. So,
And nobody's asked for a waiver, I'm assuming.
perfect. Adam, if you could make a note, there's one property that jumps out on me.
Hmm.
And that's 1406.
Yeah.
And that, well, it is the balance due column, which I guess it might make sense when you look at it, but the values of the property are almost the same, but the tax amount is
Okay.
substantially different, I guess.
Yeah, just check it.
Just to make sure it's not a mistake. All right, so we're going to move on. 5.2 comprehensive plan discussion.
All right, so, we had the young lady in here the other week. We talked about the comp plan a little bit, and I actually feel like, I give this disclaimer, I feel like there's some fluff in comp plans, the way they work, but at the same time, comp plans, we haven't updated ours since many, many years ago. I do think that they are helpful in that strategic planning and making plans to move forward. They also make it so we are eligible for more, potential grant opportunities in the future. So what I'm asking is, I think it'd be in our best interest to move forward with starting to develop our comp plan, an updated comp plan. I just wanna make sure the board and the manager are on the same page if I start making efforts of working on that.
Clearly, there's nobody, we don't have an employee that can do this comp plan start to finish.
Correct.
Everybody has work they need to do. We need some outside assistance.
Yep.
I think the question is, how much is it going to cost us?
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to spending some money.
Mhm.
Can that money come from the TIF?
Yes.
And then two, we certainly want a cap on that. No matter how much she does, if we go with her, we don't want to spend more than
X.
X number of dollars.
Well, what I was thinking is that I would get started talking to her and seeing what Avcog can do for us. See if she would give me like the Cadillac price versus if we do some, if we split up the work, just kind of like everything from, we do everything to the Cadillac, if you will, and everything in between, and just, then I'll have some cost ideas and so forth. But I didn't want to ask you to put together a estimate if it's not, if you guys aren't interested. So. You hear me, Scott, by the way?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm in favor of moving forward with it.
All right,
Okay.
I don't need a vote or anything, I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page, so,
Just bring it back to us when you have some numbers.
all right, thank you.
5.3 Route 26 town lot discussion.
All right.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, guys. So, you've got in front of you a map that you can reference. We have talked about this a little bit. Reached out to 3 different forestry companies. Sappy, you saw them the other week and they gave you the plan and what they had for thoughts. Also, Maine Custom Woodlands, I believe, is here tonight, so they'd like to share their thoughts on what they could do for that lot. And then Day Brothers Logging is also provided a proposal as well, and that is attached here for you to look at. So the couple of questions that we have here is I'd like to let them go over what their thoughts are, and then I need the board to tell me, are you interested in moving forward with the forestry as we discussed? Are you wanting further information? You know, that's part A. Part B is we really need to figure out what we're gonna do with this lot, and I've got some ideas and so forth. We've talked about some ideas, but we're gonna need to get some other people involved. If we're not just gonna sell it as is, as it is now, we need to start making motions. One of the thoughts that I've discussed with a couple of you individually is doing a preliminary subdivision plan of some sort, with input from the board, figuring out where approximately we want roads, where we want potential development sites, all of those kind of things. I've talked to the engineer that we've used many times in the past, Rob Prue. That is something that his firm does. If we're interested in doing that, he'll give me an estimated cost on what he would want to do a preliminary plan. And then once we have a preliminary plan with a rough idea of where the roads would go, he can give us a preliminary cost on the cost to build out the road, the cost to install water, sewer, and electric, any of those utilities we think we want to put in there. But as I've said to some of you individually, I'm not excited about taking that step until I get input from you guys. Because if the plan is just to leave it the way it is, it's a big waste of money to do any of those things. So we want to hear from the gentleman from forestry company here and go from there.
Yeah, if he's got something fairly quick, I mean, we have your packet.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
thorough.
we don't have to go, this is a pretty comprehensive, document. I can give you the 30,000 feet view. So my name's Sam Blatchford. I'm the senior forester at Maine Custom Woodlands. We're a local company right out of Durham. We are a fully vertically integrated outfit, so we do everything in-house. We have 3 licensed foresters on staff, including myself. We own 2 mechanical harvesting crews. We own 13 trucks. We have 3 full-time mechanics, a full fleet of office staff, and a whole excavation division as well. So half a dozen excavators, a couple of dump trucks, 2 bulldozers, and that sort of thing. So everything from property lines to close out, landing, install, it's all wrapped in a bow. So the buck kind of stops with me and Tom, the owner. So you don't have to no one's really working for themselves. Everyone's paid by the hour. I think the big highlights here, if the thought is to make the land more desirable for sale, especially in a commercial zone, the trees are in the way. And so instead of having a potential buyer have to pay someone to come in to remove certain trees, that sort of thing, the idea was that we could pay you to get rid of those trees, to make things a little bit easier to do surveys, for people to see the land and make it a little bit more suitable for development. The harvest system we use is the whole tree harvest system. So basically everything from the stump from the butt of the tree to the top of the tree is taken out of the forest. So knee deep, slash, all that kind of stuff leaves the forest. Anything we can't make into roundwood, so if it's not a saw log or pulpwood or firewood, we put it through our 800 horsepower whole tree chipper, and we load it into 30-ton trailers that go up to Livermore Falls. So all that extra material, although it doesn't pay a heck of a lot, it does get it out of your woods, and it goes up to Livermore for green power, so biomass. I think the last page there talks a little bit about income. So what would the town potentially see from a harvest with Maine Custom Woodlands? There are 2 options we're prepared to offer you guys. So we could do what's called pay as cuts or stumpage. So there's an agreed upon contracted rates for each forest product. So I have those outlined in the bottom there. So these are the 4 big products that would be coming out of your woodlot. These rates don't change. You would get paid for everything that's cut. So there's a little bit of risk for everybody, right? I have an idea what's out there, but you're gonna get paid for what is harvested, right? Or we can offer you a lump sum, so we can write you a check per the prescription, which we remove everything 8 inches and up. Walking around the woods, I think as you had mentioned, that was cut pretty hard, probably 30-ish years ago. And the residual stand is basically very small saplings, and then you have a kind of a scattered overstory of pine saw logs and some scattered firewood. So the merchantable timber would be that larger stuff. So removing all of the bigger stuff would allow you to kind of see the landscape a little bit better, be able to walk through the woods. I think any logger who stands here and tells you that they're not gonna make ruts might not be the most truthful logger. Even if the harvest is done in the wintertime, ruts happen, right? I think what's a nice bonus with working with us is we do come back through with an excavator outfitted for the forest. We kind of cut those ruts in, we install what are called BMPs or best management practices. So if there's any water crossings, we put those to bed. We mitigate any erosion risks. So, I mean, this lot in particular is very flat. There's no water crossings. But anything that would have a risk for erosion, we make sure we kind of put that to bed so that sort of doesn't wash away, that sort of thing. So it certainly isn't going to look like a park the day we leave, but we do try to give Mother Nature a head start and putting things to bed, making sure that things aren't too unsightly. Of course, we have workers' comp. We're fully insured. And our truck looks pretty cool going down the road, so.
That's the important part.
Yes, yeah. We do hold liability for the property lines. We do all the permitting. We really try to make it a one-stop shop. So you kind of you sign up with us and then you get to watch the show is how we try to handle business. You guys have any questions?
Yeah, when you say one stop, you're gonna put the landing in, but beyond that, are you capable of doing like larger landing or a longer road in, so you have your own excavation crew for that stuff?
Yep.
You know, and that, obviously that would come out of what, you know, what's there for timber, but we just wanted to, we know we had talked about, you know, maybe, or the previous contract had talked about maybe extending roads or whatever, and that's something you guys can.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. A lot of our landowner clients will take a portion or a majority of their income from a harvest to make improvements to the property, whether that's pulling the stumps and grinding them on site, or making any kind of altercations to the land or building the road and that sort of thing. So that's something we definitely have the horsepower to do.
So this plan doesn't include pulling stumps?
That's correct. Yep. That's a separate division. It's our grinding division.
But you do
That's a billable service.
You can do that?
Yes. Yep.
I'd be certainly interested in seeing what that might be for a cost.
Is there any possible way to estimate that? Or is that really kind of a?
It's more of a site specific, and if you're looking to do 1 acre or 40 acres, you know, that's a big difference. So I probably want to know a little bit more about the scope of the project before I start throwing out numbers. But that's something I can definitely, you know, over email item up.
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't talking now, I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
put you on the spot, yeah. I
But
was
yeah,
thinking-
no, that's something we do all the time.
You know, assuming if we're cutting the trees, we're gonna want the stumps down.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No. We're gonna pay somebody else to come in and pull the stumps. Or the developer will. Either way.
Yeah, and then I guess, I don't know if you guys have any questions about the prescription I had recommended, which is based, that prescription I have is what those numbers are based on, so that lump sum offer would be for removing all the trees greater than 8 inches, which is pretty small. Like I said, I kind of looked at this through the lens of, we want to make it more appealing for development. So that's what we do, is trees are in the way.
If the board chose to move forward, how soon do you think you guys would be able to?
A 40-acre lot like this, I don't think would take us much more than 2 weeks to complete. We do move pretty fast. We could definitely get you in the schedule in the next couple of months. That wouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, my job as a procurement forester is to keep our 2 woods crews busy 51 weeks a year. So I'm always shuffling the schedules around and, you know, whatever, working with our landowner clients' timelines. So some folks are in a huge hurry, other folks aren't. So I'm kind of able to mix and match and, you know, make make sure that we're a good fit there at the right time of year.
Any other questions, from the board?
We do have a website as well, I think it's right on the cover there, but you can check us out online as well. There's some more information about how we go about doing things, in the presentation here. Once my email's back up and running, I can forward this along in a digital copy for you guys.
Ed, you have a question?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment that I'd recommend these guys, they do all that chipping at the dump too. It's the same crew, A1. The lot was just done last week and it was cleaned and ready for brush again. They come in, they do it and get it over with. So, I do recommend them.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch for more information if that's.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Further discussion on the questions. I know I've talked to some people that would be interested in the back side, the ski field side for residential development. Certainly not my decision. I like what they talk about. I think my opinion of this lot is it was given to the town and it's our job to get the most bang for our buck out of that land, whether it's on an immediate sale price or future taxes coming in. So if somebody wanted to put in a housing development with 20 homes, single homes, double wide, or not double wides, but duplexes, something like that, nicer development, that's a lot of tax revenue coming in on 3-bedroom, two-bath home is probably gonna be $350,000 done, and that's on the cheap end nowadays. So a lot of tax revenue there if it's developed the right way.
I think. Shane wanted to say something, I caught my eye.
I'll call him that.
All right, I think there's two things that we've discussed about this and two things we need to keep in mind is, like you said, one is tax revenue. The biggest thing that I look at this as far as moving forward with this, as far as development is uses on the wastewater treatment plant. I think regardless whether you're in the back or in the front, we have to find a way to require this development to be on town sewer. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. We need users.
Which lends it to what you're saying, a little towards residential, certainly a portion of it being residential would add more subscribers to it, right? Versus.
If you get the town sewer out that way. So I don't know how many feet it is from Route 26 to that back to the ski field, but right now the ordinance is 350 required to hook up.
I thought it was less than that.
Is it? But anyway, so if they mean running the line out far enough so that any development out there is required to get on.
And I think I wouldn't mind seeing at least, I would be in the favor of subdividing it. And I would be in favor of having at least 2 lots having to be required to be at least multifamily units. I'd rather see multifamily units in or some, whatever, I don't know. Senior living, just because that's on top of my head because of the road and something, but I would much rather see something like that and have more users and potentially larger structures, not huge structures, I'm not talking 3-4 story structures, but I'd rather see more users and get 4 to 6 places per lot instead of just one household. But raise me in.
I think we have to be careful, right? We want to sell it, right? Like, so you don't want to keep narrowing down who we want to buy it either, right? Like, you know, it's, if somebody's interested in it, either come to the town, come to a meeting, and make a pitch of what their idea is and see if we really want to work with them, we can be cool with it then. But I think requiring anything would just kind of narrow that audience.
Well, that's why I'm saying only like 2 lots. I'm not saying every lot that we make, but
Yeah.
a couple of them.
It's hard, I mean, if you sell it outright somebody's gonna do what they want with it. Right. Or we potentially work with, I think if you lot that lot off, I'm not a real estate expert, but if you take off the Route 26 frontage for commercial business, however many acres, and you do residential on the back, say half, I think you have developers lining up at the chance for that many house lots.
Shane, do you happen to know, I'd venture a guess it'd be pretty tough to put a leach field in out there without doing a pump system or raised. Am I grasping at straws there, or do you feel pretty the same way?
It's definitely possible. Whether or not it would have to be a raised system, the site evaluator would have to make that determination.
It is a high water table.
I personally don't know about this end of town. I know on the other end of the plain, the water table is very high. On this end, I'm not really sure.
I mean, you probably don't. You might solve its own problem, but I feel pretty good that you're gonna have a hard time. It's gonna be expensive to put a leach field in, I think. Just a little bit that I know.
We don't want, ideally, we don't want them.
Right. I mean,
We want them to tie in like
requirement,
town water and sewer, so, my overall viewpoint is we need a workshop on this and discuss in depth, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, thoughts, process, what we can do, what we think we can work with a developer or get a developer interested in. What I've been told is that lot's too big and the price is too big for a developer to come in and buy that for what we're asking. Because by the time, if they have to take a mortgage and they do the development and put in the houses, the interest on that mortgage is gonna eat up a big chunk of their profit, which is understandable. So if we can talk about maybe splitting that lot in half, or a residential area and a commercial business on the 26th side, if that's the board's wishes. But I think a workshop's definitely needed. It's not a business item type solve. So as soon as we think it's feasible, I don't know, next meeting or first meeting in February maybe.
I think the first meeting in February would be better. We've got, the next meeting, we are having a workshop about the sewer rate fees.
Yep.
We wanted to talk
I
about
would
that.
also, there's more information I'd like to get on this. I need to know, we need to know footage, especially if we're talking about town water and or sewer. If you're gonna put sewer in, you're gonna put water in too. You know, both. So it's gonna come off 26. So we need to know how far we need to get back to require tie-in to the sewer system.
What do you mean by that? Like, I'm not sure I'm following you. Are you suggesting that the town would put it in?
Potentially. I'd like to know the cost, what it would cost. If we invest that money, I think it's gonna increase the sale value.
I don't disagree. I think I would, rather than, then I'll come to the workshop. I'm not saying I don't want to do the workshop, but if you have talked to somebody and somebody's interested, I'd rather workshop with them, like them come in and say, this is what I'm thinking. And just, I mean, I don't want to tie up a bunch of time into this when.
No,
That's all.
I would like the numbers on what it would cost to run.
We did talk about lowering the price.
Yeah.
We tabled that, and I think we could revisit that right now too. And it was certainly overpriced on it for the lump sum, so.
I think we went high end.
Yeah.
But then long term, what do we want? What do we want to see long term going?
My thing is, if we don't look at subdividing ourselves and doing what we want as a town, this could blow up in our face.
You could, if you lower the price, or if somebody went in there and bought it today for what we're asking, they're gonna do whatever they want. Within reason, and the code and all that, if they wanna just let the trees grow, you're gonna have basic tax revenue. rather than, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 per house lot or more on a duplex, triplex, whatever you put in there.
So why,
And the connections to the wastewater treatment plant.
what was he saying about Rob, about the conceptual?
Yeah, so if you folks wanted, if the board wanted to start exploring some of those things, what we could do is we could work with an engineer. I'm not qualified to do a conceptual, plan for this. So working with an engineer to do a conceptual subdivision plan, he would take our input that, we wanna have X number of potential residential lots, X number of multi-unit dwellings on there, and we'd like this part of it to be commercially available. And he would help us based on what we have, draw out a conceptual plan. We'd figure out where we wanted the road to be. And then with that, we could get some estimates on how much it would cost to put the water, all the utilities in there. But until we know roughly where our road's gonna be, we can't do that either. So if you're looking for lots of conceptual costs, we need to do something.
I mean, I know we had talked a little bit, but where did everyone's thought, well, I guess Scott's here too, but the thoughts was having a road beside that small 1.4 acre lot. So it was halfway in between the total land that we own, so that you have like a main road going in, so you have two lots, one on each side of that. So we have two lots right on 26 with frontage, right? I think would be making a mistake to, unless somebody approaches as far as something bigger on that corner that needed more land than 26. But if we split that in the first two lots on each side, and then after that, I don't really, that's above my pay grade. That's where I'd ask Rob to. I assume we thought we want the road to go from 26 over to Skeefield, right?
Potentially.
Should. Let Rob do his thing and let
I mean,
him.
it really would depend on what somebody wants to put in on the 26 side, if they want through traffic going. I mean, yeah, if you put a road in, it's a road, but, you gotta leave enough land there to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
We could access it, right?
Yeah.
From Skeet Field and do your residential off the Skeet Field entrance and then have I think that's what Dan was talking
Yeah,
about.
I think you can do it, whatever anybody wants.
I
to do.
understand, but if you separate those two, then are you gonna let the back half get developed without people hooking up to the wastewater plant?
Yeah, you just have to do it right away, right? Which I would assume would be on the property
And
line.
there's no wastewater plant on Ski, there's no sewer line on Ski Field.
Right. I would assume you would do your sewer right away out, somewhere near the property line. To get your, so that's what we're talking about, is bring a stub in. Is that what they call that, a stub?
Yeah.
So bring a line in that you can stub off and run to the wall.
Close enough to any of the lots that they would be required to connect.
I don't care as far as when it gets to that part, as long as everybody in this development is hooked up to the wastewater plant. That's what I care about.
So that requires one of two things. The line has to be within that footage of whatever it was, and I thought it was 3 or 350, but, so, or you get that ordinance changed to increase the footage,
I think we tell Rob that, let Rob
figure it out.
figure
Do
it
you
out.
know off the top of your head?
So that zone mixed use, with sewer and water, road frontage is, I believe it's 100 feet.
That sounds right to me.
I saw that earlier.
The only road frontage requirement is 100 feet.
No, the requirement, distance to the sewer line. There's a requirement if the home, business, whatever structure is within X
Oh,
number
without
of feet
needing
of
a
the
pump
sewer
station.
line, they have to connect. I think it's 300.
Oh, yeah, I have to look at sewer rates for that.
There's lots of ideas, that's why I think we need a workshop too.
I agree,
And
if Rob gives the conceptual,
should we
get
come to
things
the
going.
workshop, or he's gonna come up with,
Would you like him to come to the workshop?
Yeah.
I value his opinion, I don't wanna pay him a ton of money prematurely, that's all.
No, that's fine. I mean, if you folks want him at the workshop, I'll ask if he's free on the first meeting in February, which I believe is the 5th. And then I apologize, I can't remember if it's 100 feet, 300 feet, but I know that
It's
if
more than 100.
they're required to hook into the sewer if their parcel abuts the sewer line, but there is a footage requirement in there too, and I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. I was trying to find it while we were talking. But I'll ask Rob to attend if he can on the 5th.
Shane?
One thing I might suggest considering, and I can do some of the homework on this end, is part of the comprehensive plan requirement, within the comprehensive plan is designated growth areas. This might be a perfect opportunity to look at not necessarily rezoning that parcel. I believe the backside adjacent to ski field is residential, a small sliver of it. The rest of it's mixed residential. I think there's money out there for towns to utilize either through grants, with that new LD 1829 that's coming about. I just want to throw that out there.
I love the word grant.
I think you just volunteered to look for grants. Yeah, I apologize, I don't know the top of my head.
But Phil, to add to your early question, I remember in my previous life with Public Works, when we built Park Road in Skiavi Lane, we grubbed that out at least 4 feet in some many spots, and the drainage out there is excellent. And that's not far from.
I think this might be a pretty. But why don't we have that information for us when we do sit down?
Okay,
Are we setting that date for the workshop now, or?
he's gonna check with Rob, but let's tentatively put it down for that first February meeting.
If you guys are okay with that, why don't we tentatively say February 5th at 5 p.m. So we'll do before the meeting starts, and I'll confirm that the engineer can be here. I have worked with him for a really long time, and value his opinion as
I
well.
don't wanna commit all your time, I would do it on a special night if he's available and.
Yeah, I'm getting to something.
Would you guys be interested in doing you mean during the day or something? Is that what you're thinking, or?
Wait a minute.
No. More or less any night
A
at
different evening, maybe not.
5 or 6.
Right.
Okay.
Ideally, it's on a meeting night or another
Friday,
night that you're here.
Friday night at 7.
I'm probably not interested in Friday night at 7, but
Is 5 o'clock enough, or should we shoot for 4:30?
I can go as early as 4, but.
I can see that being more than maybe 45 minutes worth of conversation, and I know.
No, I said an hour or 2, but.
Right, so I don't know, maybe 5's too, or not early enough.
We can,
You wanna do
we'll
4:30?
get into part of the selectmen's meeting and just continue right through. Holy shit. And do what we gotta do.
Right.
I can do 4:30. If Phil can do 4:30. I'm sure Floyd can.
In February, I should be fine.
I'll send you guys all an email, let you know what he says.
Perfect. Did you say Gabriel's also had a?
Yes,
That's in our packet.
Yep.
It's one of the.
it's attached.
Do we wanna make a decision on this tonight? What would we wait for to hire somebody in? Am I being too pushy here? I just feel like you wanna get on these guys' schedule and get this thing cut, right? I mean, there's no question if we're gonna have a cut, it's just who's gonna cut it.
Yeah. Can I put that on the next meeting and hopefully the majority, we're all here. Not putting it off to February, but the next January meeting. No.
You're the chairman.
What? Unless you have a motion to, I wasn't really prepared to vote because one, this packet just came in tonight, so, I know I've looked at it, I certainly would like to compare.
The question I'd like to find out.
The others haven't looked at it, this packet, so that's the only reason I say wait till the next meeting. We don't have to wait till February, I don't think, but the next January meeting.
So the other thing I'd like to clarify too, and I don't remember being discussed last week when the other gentleman was here, or 2 weeks ago, were the stumps being pulled in that scenario?
Now that I was sitting, I'm not 100%
I know.
sure, so I'd like to ask.
There's a couple things I'd like to clarify, but I say let's get it solved next meeting. I want a clean job done.
Exactly, I agree, and I would think that this pulling stump were probably not included, at least in Day Brothers, because it doesn't say that, but
Yeah.
it would be nice to know
I don't remember a
the
specific.
total package,
Said before, so
so.
let's make a decision next meeting.
Put it on for next meeting to.
That's what I think.
Anything else on this item? Department head, got 2 or 3 of them here, but
I didn't have any meetings.
many of you, 4 of them actually. Town manager updates.
All right, so we already kind of hit on it. January 22nd, 5 PM, right before the next Selectmen's meeting is the sewer standby workshop we're gonna have. That's at 5 PM. February 5th, we'll tentatively say at 4:30, we will have another workshop on this parcel of land we were just talking about. I also want to let the board know that RFPs are out right now for the East Oxford Road box culvert stream crossing. That's up on our website right now. That was prepared by Rob Prue, actually, so.
Did that come through so that you did the culvert with the roadwork, correct? The paving, everything is all, that's all one package?
No, this includes just the stream crossing, so it's the installation of the cement structure and all of that, but the paving will be a separate item. And so that's posted, and then I've been talking to the highway department foreman quite a bit about the mowing. A couple of us have had conversations about mowing as I'm working through the budget. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post an RFP for mowing of the town properties. We're gonna divide it up so that it's gonna have it so that it's mowing all town properties, meaning cemeteries and like town office, that kind of stuff, a separate one for the rec fields and so forth, and then a third total of the whole lump sum. So if you wanna do it all, it'll be this much, but if you wanna itemize it between those two, so that we can really see what we're looking at. I'm gonna try and get that posted here sooner than later, and then have that before we get to the budget being presented. I think that might give us something to work with. Just because we put the RFP out does not necessarily mean we need to award it, because if it is cheaper for us to do it ourselves, then obviously we want to entertain that. But this mowing is always a challenge every year. Also, last year, there was some budget money approved to do an upgrade to the public safety building cameras and door access codes and so forth. So that RFP should be going out tomorrow. And also we'll be putting out the fuel RFP shortly as well for next year's fuel. So those things will be all coming up. Also, as I just said, I've been meeting with department heads. We're working on getting things started in the budget. We're off to a good start. I'm excited to keep working through those with all the department heads. And then lastly, ordinances. We were just kind of talking about ordinances a little bit. This is the time of year, if the selectmen have ordinances that you think need to be updated, changed, or added, or whatever, this is the time of year that we need to be talking about that stuff. So if you think there needs to be a change to the sewer ordinance, or the police chief and I have been talking about the mass gathering ordinance, you're gonna see a proposal to make some modifications to that. This is the time of year to have those conversations. So I would just plant that seed with you guys, be thinking about that. So that's what I got for you.
Selectmen items.
I get two things. One, Ashley, where's things stand with the mini pumper and the ambulance stuff? Any update on that stuff?
Yeah, so I actually just got, updated pictures of the mini pumper this week. They had it mostly put together, but it didn't meet the specs that they had agreed to, so it got taken back apart. But now that it's taken back apart, it's all the right pieces are there, so hopefully it, gets put back together the proper way, but still no ETA because of all the hiccups we've had along the way. Honestly, at this point, I expect the ambulance before the mini pumper.
The second thing I had was, a little while back, we had made mention about putting the snow pusher down the dump out for bid or whatever. Anything come about of that, or is anything, we got any bids or anything for that, or?
Ed's brought that to my attention, and it's, I've lost it in the fray, so I need to make sure that gets out there.
No dessert for you.
Are we just doing by bid, or are we gonna put it at the transfer station, like, where people can see it and put for sale, best offer or something, or is it just by bid, or what?
Usually what we've been doing with surplus stuff recently is on Municipid, which is the website that you can sell surplus stuff. We'll put it on there and have it up for say 2 weeks or something like that, and then it just goes to the highest bidder, whoever on there. They can come and inspect it at the transfer station, Ed can let them in to look at it, that kind of thing, so. We've done all right luck with that, with trucks and police vehicles and stuff like that.
Cool. You don't have to accept that bid either.
No, it's just like any of the others that you did.
If it doesn't line up, you still sell it.
Is that an option, put it out and put for sale, best offer or something though? Or no?
I think when you dispose of any public property, it's best to do it through some sort of a sealed bid or auction type of thing, so that it's fair and equitable across the board, and we're not showing favoritism to anybody or perceived favoritism.
Fair enough, alright, cool, that's all I got.
We had on here town meeting date, time discussion continued. I don't remember if that was to make a decision, if we're gonna stay with town meeting, if we're gonna go to a ballot, if we wanted to change the date. Again, we've beat this multiple times over the last 2, 3, 4 years, and if we did straw polls at both the ballot box and at town meeting. Of course, the straw poll at town meeting, those people that showed up want to do a town meeting. You did it at the ballot box. The people that went to the ballot box want to do it by ballot, so. Thoughts? Again, it's just 3 of us tonight, so it's hard to make a good, solid decision. You did have a sample ballot in our packet.
Yep.
Obviously, you can make some changes to that, make it shorter, make it longer. A lot of those ballot items can be lumped together, but each department pretty much would have to be by itself. Some of the required languages, stuff that we often lump together at the town meeting. Probably could still lump together.
Yeah, you could, the board's warrant, so you could, for instance, if you felt like public works items included public works department, the sewer department, and transfer station, you could put them all in one question if you felt confident that they were all going to pass. I don't think that I would put a public safety warrant article out there that was police and fire both. And usually that's two different, those usually get, different thought processes on them, so.
I mean, you have some experience both ways with this, right?
Some, yeah.
What's your input on it as far as pros and cons?
I mean, I think there's pros and cons on doing it both ways. I mean, I know that in the past, in other places that I've been, I've seen, we saw a great turnout when we did it at referendum one of the times. But, tradition is tradition too. So I am not naive to the fact that the last open town meeting did say they wanted town meeting. So I think if you do open town meeting, it's very traditional, allows people to come in here, they can say their piece and they can get that information out. If you do a referendum, it allows for absentee ballot voting, so that folks that can't necessarily get to town meeting or don't necessarily have the desire to sit in a room with a bunch of people, or however you want to put it, they can participate. So, you know, I think there's pros and cons in both directions. If we did a referendum ballot, you have to do a public hearing before town meeting, you know, before the voting starts. So, I mean, that is an opportunity. So it's an opportunity to sit there and let people ask questions, let people give you input. And that's the time where you would take that information from the public hearing and maybe you would even make modifications to some of the things that are being proposed. So.
Do you see that as more of a burden on your staff, on town office, on putting this together? Is it, you know, do you see, is it, as you know, from us meeting, I'm in favor of one per referendum. I think the bigger sample size you get, the better it is. The more people that are involved in the process of approving a town budget, the more people that are accountable to it and will take personal accountability to it. But I also don't want to be naive to think that maybe the old fashioned way in tradition has some value and maybe, you know, monetarily, meaning it costs less to do it that way. I don't know.
Well, if we did a referendum, the clerks are gonna be here anyway, because it's gonna be a Tuesday that voting's going on.
As long as we have the referendum on the day we have other voting, as long as we're not doing a special referendum day.
Which I would definitely want it to be on the normal referendum day in June. So, I mean, if that's the case, we're already open for voting. Yes, we'd have an expense for ballots. Yes, we would have the clerks would have more hands-on work with having to mail those ballots out and process those ballots. We potentially would need to get an additional ballot, counting machine to do just the town meeting warrant. So there'd be some expenses, but the convenience of it, there is some convenience factor there too. My big argument in the past with this has been accessibility, is that more people can absentee ballot vote. But I also am very conscious of the folks that are traditional. They put the effort forth to go to town meeting, so why don't the others? So it's.
The big thing is you said a referendum, we still have to have a public hearing.
Correct.
Because the one thing about that, it at least makes me feel better. The one thing about the town meeting is that you get to hear other residents' ideas and thoughts. And some people bring up some valid point that you may change your mind at the last minute. Or you're looking for input, you may not have your mind made up, and what someone else says may sway you one way or another. But if we have that public hearing opportunity as far as the referendum, then that's our chance to voice.
So you said that you could potentially, at that public meeting, you could potentially change the warrant article.
As long as we do the public hearing early enough.
So we're gonna have budget committee have a recommendation. We're gonna have select board have a recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a referendum after both of those have been made, it has to be in time. If there is a desire for either group to change it, because you have, the information's gotta be sent to get the ballots printed. So we definitely need a timeline on that information. And give us plenty of time, so the referendum would have to be by April 1st, I don't know. In order to get your ballots sent out to print, get them back. You've gotta have them in time for absentee ballots, or absentee voting, which is whatever day before voting day.
Correct. If you guys are interested in doing a referendum town meeting, I'm gonna have to rework my timeline to make sure we're accommodating those needs.
I'm interested.
So.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
So the only other thing I'll throw out there is that with an open town meeting, when folks come to an open town meeting, and let's say we're talking about Department X, and the budget committee says that they recommend $1 million, and the selectmen say they recommend $1.2 million. The higher number goes on the article. The 1.2, so that the folks on town meeting floor have the opportunity to vote on that. If it's a referendum, we're gonna be putting the higher number in the warrant article, and regardless of what the lower number is, they're either saying yes to the high number or no to it all. So there is a little bit less, they have a little bit less ability at voting time to massage it, so the yes or no. So that's one of the,
Just make sure I understood that correctly. Whichever recommendation is higher between the budget committee and the select board will go on the referendum.
that's traditionally how we've done it here.
Well, generally we have both. Both recommendations on the town meeting
Yes.
warrant would have both.
Yes, but the higher number goes in the article itself.
Yes. Because at a town meeting, you can lower that number. The public can lower that number, they can't increase
If we go to referendum, that's not gonna happen.
it. Referendum is gonna be a yes or no box. We pass this, we're done. And if they don't, then there's a process for reworking that,
No different than if they don't pass it at town meeting.
so.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
So I think I would rather do, especially for this year, because I don't feel like the timeline affords for a lot of flexibility for a referendum. It's a lot of change for 1 year, and it's, where our deadlines are already tight between the budget committee meetings and the bringing it to the board and getting it approved and all of that. I feel like it's tight already. If we stay with the town meeting, can we move it to the elementary school so there's more room, so it's more comfortable? And I think if all of us collectively work, and I know you've done it 1,000 times, everybody tries to bring a friend, but let's all dedicate ourselves to making sure that the word gets out. Let's put on Facebook every freaking week so that it's annoying and people, if they can't say that they didn't know. And I hesitate to put it to referendum because there's not a huge group of people that are dedicated to town politics. There's not a lot of people that are involved. And if we open up huge decisions to groups of people that don't care, obviously, or that don't have any kind of education or interest in what we're doing here, I think that's a huge mistake. I think our money is gonna get misappropriated, or it's not gonna go to the right places where it's needed. I don't think now's a good time to do that. My 2 cents.
I agree.
We've done lots of things to try to get people to come to town meeting. For years, we put up the signs on
Even gave
the
out pens.
street. Lots of things,
Cookies?
lots of
Can we do
ideas. There's always gonna be people that say they forgot,
Yeah.
or no, the weather's too nice, whatever it is. If you wanna turn out, they turn out. If they don't, they don't. So, no different than the ballot box, no different than the
Right,
referendum.
And those same people know what their taxes are.
Right.
So if they wanna voice it, they can show up or not.
They can. Anything else? I'm not prepared to decide tonight. Again, not to put things off, but
This is, you gotta make a decision tonight or not. And the way tonight is trending, we're not gonna vote anything, we're just gonna make a decision. We're just right, we're in this window, right? We either need to do this or not, we can't back it up, I don't think we can back it up right now from when the election would be, when we go to referendum, but if you start backing that up right now, it is, I'm assuming it is pretty tight. And tabling this any further is just gonna make it tighter.
If you guys want a timeline, I will have that prepared for you at the next meeting, and whether it's realistic or not. But, I mean, I think legally, we could make that happen. You know, but at the same time, I agree with the comments that are being made too, I mean, it's tight.
it's also not a business item to vote on, so again, not everybody looks at this when it's posted online, but I don't think anybody was expecting that we were going to vote, whether we're gonna have a town meeting or a referendum vote for the budget, which might.
Be that guy,
Well,
look out there. It's the same people.
I agree.
There's 2 people that weren't here at the last meeting, that's it. I mean, if you're watching us on TV, show up next meeting because we're gonna vote on whether we go to referendum.
I'm good with saying that tonight. next meeting, we will vote whether we're gonna have a referendum, budget, or a town. I'm good with that.
Is there space for a happy medium in there potentially that if you folks don't decide to do the referendum, that you wanna consider another night? Like a Thursday night potentially?
For a town meeting,
I mean,
I
heck, we
just
could
think
do a
an
raffle for
evening
free
would be
taxes
really
or something,
better.
that might get some people out. Door prize.
Old snow pusher?
Yeah. One of the used cruisers or something with
Yeah.
some old service weapons.
On Thursday night.
Look, my goal is just simply to get more people in, but, you know, to get a larger portion of the residents involved in the budget process. That's my goal here. There's no other, I like town meeting. I for one enjoy doing it. But the sample size, like I said last time, is so small that I would like to see a bigger sample size and more people have an opportunity to vote.
I agree.
Next meeting,
Nobody said we would turn away the door.
Instead of him,
I guess we can think about if we decide.
yeah, I'm
If we decide to have a town meeting, do we wanna change the day? Then I can do that.
and okay.
I mean, if you're not gonna do it Saturday, you're not gonna do it Sunday, period. I won't support Sunday. So if you're not gonna do Saturday, and we're talking 8 p.m.
I like a midweek deal. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we did. So let's keep it in mind.
It is good.
Next meeting, we'll decide.
Right, exactly.
Sign warrants.
Yeah, but I'll maybe be a few down.
We're going in early.
Yeah, you gotta know wait, get that.
We're going in early tomorrow, wow, so we haven't been touched. Just so you know, okay? Fallon's good.
This is my time.
Yeah, the one that does Staples Avenue, holy shit, they're wrecking both ends.
I'm retired.
Holy shit. They're making a mess on that road.
That's my protege, I'm thinking about now. That's old friend.
Holy shit. You're gonna have to have all the signs rebuilt.
Hey, 9 years, I never hit the mailbox.
Don't hit it now.
Mailbox.
Anybody
Isn't it
Shane,
cold?
Shane,
Come on.
anybody hits ours, they'll be breaking the
He has more than mailboxes. Don't tell that to my people.
We used to say that to our counterparts.
We're gonna have those.
No, they're going into executive session.
I'll get 40 bucks.
You should ask to stay. You should ask to stay. You should ask to stay.
I hate winter.
Just
Just more clothes and more,
It's probably legal warehouse, it's probably freaking minimal
I have to dress like I'm gonna have to walk up that hill.
insulation.
Right.
Still got all the chickens up there, Lois, so you can get rid of
Hey,
them. Did you have chickens
A
up
lot
there?
of when,
Well, no, I had one.
we're
I
talking.
had Henrietta for 18
As
years.
soon as we're done talking about it.
I already found it.
The requirement for public connection may be waived upon appeal to the board of selectmen, however, no waiver may be granted for any house, building, or property used for human occupancy, employment, recreation, or other purposes. If the said gravity line is within 300 feet of the building to be served, yeah.
Gravity.
Page 11, paragraph I.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, so you couldn't find it out.
Well, it's fun to listen in and these things.
I don't know. Totally same thing.
Well,
You're
You guys
better-
going into executive session?
We will be.
Yes, ma'am.
You gotta leave now, Lois.
Huh?
So you can leave now.
Yeah, okay.
No.
You got the steel on, Lois, huh?
Yeah,
One of those weeks has some holiday pay.
Yeah, you
At least one of them.
the transfer station has time and a half too.
Mhm.
You might remember we voted on that. It's only a couple hundred bucks.
It's just a quote of wood. I'd make a motion, but I don't know the warrant numbers.
They're on the, oh, you don't have it?
70 to 74. 70 to 74. Ray made a motion to sign on 70 to 74.
Second.
All in favor? Vote. Motion to, other motion, to enter executive session, discuss personnel matter pursuant to MRSA Title 1, Chapter 13, Section 4056A.
Second.
All those in favor? Vote. Shut it down.